The game might be over, but we're just getting started. Welcome to the Todd Fox Postgame Podcast, your go-to spot for real, unfiltered Angels talk, win or lose, on the Halos in the Infield Network. You never know what's going to happen. Walk-offs, meltdowns, heroics, or straight-up typical Angels disasters. We're breaking it all down. Who stepped up and took home the Golden Stamos, the most prestigious award in baseball? And who embarrassed themselves so badly they're stuck with the dreaded Nacho Night Award? Drop your comments, call in, and sound off. We're reading them all. So like, share, subscribe, and buckle up, because this show pulls no punches. And yes, Anthony Rendon is still a fragile little bitch. Take it away, Todd.
I'm a fox. My name's Todd.
Hey, welcome in everybody to another episode of the Halos in the Infield post-game show on a somber night tonight, because we just got, as I adjust my camera, it's never in the right spot. Still not, but whatever. Just like the Angels tonight, a little bit off. And, you can't win them all. And I know it's the most cliche thing to say, or at least one of the most cliche things to say as far as baseball is concerned, but just like it is what it is, it was what it was tonight. So with that being said, welcome into the Halos in the Infield postgame show. I am Todd Fox, your host tonight. Hopefully you and yours are having a good Friday. Not so much the Angels. The Angels get blasted tonight as things are falling all over the place. The Angels lose here 14-3. They lose by 11 points. It seemed like 2 touchdowns to a field goal. Just when you think the Angels have gotten good enough to go head-to-head with one of these teams like Houston, they show us the real colors. At least they did on the first night, so I'm hoping for a bounce-back game tomorrow. We'll get into that. But this is by the fans, for the fans, for the fans, by the fans. We don't believe in all that corporate bullshit, so you're going to get realness here on this channel more often than not. But the Angels lose here 14-3. It was close, but it wasn't close at the end. A lot to get into as far as Jack Kowanowicz's start. Look, I like the kid a lot. I think he's going to do good things for the Angels moving forward. Some people think he's not, but I do like his moxie. I like when he can keep his pitches down. The problem is he reminds me a little bit of too much of the pitchers last year in 2023. In 2023, the Angels nibbled way too much around the zone. They weren't exactly, in this Barry Enright, Ron Washington type of style of pitching where they were aggressive, ultra aggressive, trying to hit the strike zone as much as possible. He's kind of still in that nibbling stage, and the nibbling came back to beat him as he messed around in the zone. And even when he made some really good pitches that were hit at people, your infield needs to make the plays. And there was a couple plays that I'll highlight later on where it really killed his chances and really killed the Angels' chances and opened up the floodgates for the Houston Astros tonight. Now, going into this game, the Houston Astros, or the Anaheim Angels of Los Angeles of the Republic of China, had a record of 13-29 in their last 42 games in Houston. They lost tonight to make that record 13-30. I really thought new year, new me. And I thought that this team would get off to a better start here in Houston, especially with Houston playing kind of poor. Houston is 4-7 out the gates, or 5-7. Now they are 6-7 out the gate. So I really thought the Angels would take advantage and really kind of hit them a little bit hard, or in the face, punch them in the face, but not so much. This game, the scoring started early. Myers hit a sacrifice fly to make it 1-0. Trout, for all those who hate the fact he can't catch up to a fastball, and I'm one of those that hate that, he was hit hard in that first, or he hit a fastball up that was rising right there, and he crushed it, and it was gone. You knew it was gone off of Blanco, and it was 1-1. You're feeling kind of good. And then Adele singled to the shortstop, or had an infield single, sorry. Paris would score. He actually got a single trying to turn it into a double as it ricocheted. I thought that was kind of a turning point too, because that inning could have really went somewhere. If Adele hits back-to-back doubles or even stays on at first, there's an opportunity right there for him to steal a base. You have a hit and run maybe with the number 9 hitter right there, and Anderson. but that never materialized because going a little greedy right there. It was an easy play, the easy throw out right there. Adele and the Angels didn't even argue it, so they ran themselves out of an inning. So instead of turning it into a bigger inning, they only settled for one right there in the fifth inning. So in the fifth inning, you're thinking, okay, pretty good. Because so far this season, the Angels have only been blown out twice, once straight up from start to finish by the White Sox on opening day, and then which was late inning heroics by the White Sox. And then the same thing happened in St. Louis, late inning heroics that made a game that was very close, that the Angels rallied back from an Ohapi grand slam into a blowout. And then this one right here was very close until that bottom of the fifth inning when the floodgates opened up. Now, Kawano, here's the thing. There's two things I think that killed the Angels tonight. One was Patrick O'Neill. At no point have I ever said to myself, you know, that Patrick O'Neill's a hell of a broadcaster. He's pretty good at what he does. I think he can come up with pretty good wordplay. He has very good comic relief. He's got very good sayings that don't end segments where you're scratching your head on why he said that. And he also can break down a game very good. No, none of those points are true. He often says things that are very cringeworthy. He often starts to tell a story that doesn't have an ending. He also starts to comment on things that just don't make any sense or pertain to the game. And he's Mr. Fluff, meaning like if they give up a big inning, like after what happened in the sixth inning or fifth inning, he goes right into, hey, look what happened right here. The last time they were here in Houston, the young kiddos came through. It's just annoying shit. I mean, he's a terrible, terrible broadcaster, and we literally have a losing record when he calls Angel games. It's like, look, I'm not a huge fan of Randazzo myself, but at least with Wayne, it's kind of tolerable. With Patrick O'Neill, it's like I almost want to just flip it over to my Fire Stick and not even watch FanDuel and watch the opposing broadcasters. He sucks. He's god awful. And number two, Ron Washington. Again, puzzling me in these games that we either lose or turn into blowouts in his bullpen decisions. Now, if you haven't heard, obviously it's been all over our page. We've given the news out that Ben Joyce went on the IL, inflammation. Look, there's no bigger fan of Joyce than I am. I love the guy. I think he's a future closer, but I would do what right now, if I'm Perry Manassian, I try to extend Kelly Jansen one more year. Why? Because I believe that it's almost inevitable, and I hate saying this, that Ben Joyce is going to need some Tommy John surgery. Because you can't be continuing to get this freaking elbow inflammation. You got to be able to stay. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So there goes the audio. Audio's back in. All right. So with that being said, sorry about that. I'm pretty sure you guys can hear me now, right? I'm back on. So yes, I did get an F for that. Sorry. So anyway, getting back to it right there, as I got knocked out for a second. Ron Washington, I think, is a huge problem right now for this team when it comes down to bullpen management. And Ben Joyce, I think at some point he's going to have some Tommy John. And I think right now, with his Tommy, with his that inflammation, it's kind of scary. And because that's another reason why they coddle that dude. But with the bullpen being the way it is, it's like, like you only got so many guys in arms to use right now because you got a lot of rookies. You sent one down, you brought another guy up, and what happened in that inning with Kowanowitz, his pitching, like I would have liked to finish that fifth inning. I know he loaded up the bases and everything, but why would you go to a left-handed pitcher in McDaniels instead of Reed Detmers against Diaz? Because Diaz was using his basic, I'm Martin Maldonado reincarnated. Dude came into the game batting 061. Yes, you heard me right. 061. And he came up there and he lit up Angels pitching tonight. It was terrible. I don't understand why then you help a guy from the right side. You don't put a righty in there. I mean, you literally have right-handed pitchers and you freaking go to a lefty to help Diaz out and he hits a grand slam. So it's very stupid what they're doing. And again, you've only used him one time correctly, and that would be Reed Detmers. So in that fifth inning that just went to shit, you had I believe it was that opened up the floodgates, Altuve. He got on with a single. Alvarez would single to center on a play that Tim Anderson should have made and didn't, and a run would score right there to give them the lead, to give the tie it up at 2. And then Walker would single to left straight through the infield right there to make it 3-2. And then again, you take out the pitcher, you put in McDaniels, and Diaz would hit a grand slam to make it 7-2. Paredes would score to make it 8-2. Pena would hit one to make it 9-2. Diaz would come up again and score a run on a double to make it 10-2. Smith double to make it 11-2. Soler got an infield single to make it 11-3. But then Smith would come up again, homer to left, his first home run, 13-3, and then Paredes would homer to make it 14-3. So if you look at the overall pitching, this is the first time that the Angels have come in here and like literally shit the bed pitching wise. First time this season where they've had a starter go less than 5 innings. Kowanowitz missed it. He got charged for 6 runs, 3 hits, only 1 strikeout. He's not a strikeout pitcher. He had his ground balls and sinkers working. I think he didn't get some of those outside corners like the other pitcher did in Blanco, but you still and I'm not saying that's the reason, and then he also had kind of iffy defense behind him as well tonight. But Houston took advantage, and I still think that Kowanowitz could have gotten that final out against Diaz. But then again, they go again, make the wrong decision. Offensively for the Angels, not much to talk about. You had, let's see, let me get in here to the real box score here. You had Taylor Ward go 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts and a walk. At least he contributed that. You had Renifo with a hit, 1 for 4. You had Trout with a solo blast. You had Soler 1 for 3. And then Ohapi's doing Ohapi things, meaning, so far this season, he's been on one and then cold, on one and then cold recently. And then it all started when they gave him that day off. He was great rolling until they gave him that day off, which wasn't needed. He went 0 for 4 tonight and had the golden sombrero. First golden sombrero of the season, 4 strikeouts. Then you had Shonawell with a hit and 4 at-bats. You had Kyron Paris. He's batting a really bad 419. I'm just lying. 2 for 3 tonight. He's still on one right now and a walk. So he reached 3 times. Joe Adell got an RBI single that was good. He went 1 for 4, but Tim Anderson did nothing. And Newman, of course, is just good for doing nothing. Offensively for the Houston Astros, Paredes had 3 hits. Alvarez had 2. Diaz had 3 hits. So a guy coming in 061 doubled his average to 132. Thanks to the Angels. He is your new Martin Maldonado. Again, that is I don't understand. The Angels literally do not step on throats. They do not just say, hey, we got a guy down. This guy's terrible right now. Let's go after him. They'd rather be like, nah, let's give him a cookie. You don't give guys like that a cookie. He's still a major league hitter. He still can do things. And yes, he's in a slump. And yes, he's a better player than an 061 average. But you kick them while they're down. You don't let them continue to or you don't give them an opportunity to tear it up, because probably tomorrow and Sunday, he's going to be on another level against the Angels. So they gave up 14 runs, 16 hits tonight against an Angels offense that scored 3 runs and 7 hits and 2 errors. Not a good game tonight. You had Trout again leaving guys with runners in scoring position. 2 for 5 tonight, 6 left on base. So it's not like they were threatening every inning, but they did not really put any kind of gameplay together tonight to actually improve or try to like shoot down the Astros. Astros blasting them. This wasn't even funny tonight. Again, this is a game where, again, you're a team that's just learning to win. I think this is one of those things where you have to say, you can't sit there and say, revive in 25. No, this has to be a learning to win, baby steps. We're getting off the training wheels and beginning to win these series. Now, it's not a good start to this Houston series, and we knew this one's going to be tough. We knew the Texas two-step is always tough. We got the Rangers next in another stadium that we don't play particularly well in. And then we just come home to play a super influxed team like the San Francisco Giants. They're really, really good. They're kind of improved from last year a lot. So the next three series are very difficult and a good litany test, as Vince and Fernando on their podcast this morning. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. On the Hot Take Hoedown, they were talking about being concerned about these series because they want to see how the Angels match up against teams like this with winning records or winning pasts. So let's see what happens. And so far, they're getting an F on that report card because or an incomplete. This was a terrible game. And again, I give it to, there's just two idiots in this one, and I think it's Ron Washington. I hate calling him that because I do love him in a lot of other aspects, but so far this year, he's getting an F to me when he runs this bullpen, dude. Outside of putting Jansen in the ninth inning, he's screwed up all over the place and has gotten lucky in a few decisions, and he's been getting blasted in a few others. So tough game tonight, a tough loss. I could have used a few of these. And the poor rookie again gets called up just to get hammered, man. So that one was tough tonight. Tough loss. Let's play you what we play when the team loses a game. And this wasn't a loss from start to finish because they did have a 2-1 lead. So we get a buttercup.
Why do you build me up? Buttercup, baby, just to let me down. Mess me around and then worst of all, you never call baby when you say you will. But I love you still, I need you more than anyone, darling. You know that I have from the start. So build me up, buttercup, don't break my heart.
So the Angels get buttercup tonight. The bullpen blows it wide open. The offense doesn't respond. And for the second time this season, they just rolled over and died. So they bent over and did not show much fight. Look, I'm still happy on the way that they've started. They're 3 games over 500. Let's take it one game at a time. We did not go 1-0 today. It's okay. We'll turn the page, and hopefully Anderson comes back with a bounce-back start because already you got Patrick O'Neill and you got Gooby making excuses saying, hey, you got to watch that bullpen. Hey. And they're freaking out about, you got to watch that bullpen. You can't use them too much. Can't tax them. They used 2 pitchers tonight outside of the starter, or actually 3 pitchers. It's like, calm your ass down. You use probably the weakest part of your bullpen. Freaking lax. Calm your ass down. Good God. We act like we only have 2 pitchers available every night. I can't stand that about this punk-ass mentality that the Angels have when it regards to the bullpen. I am sick and tired of it. 3 straight years of hearing this BS. And it's continuing tonight. It blows my freaking mind. It really does. It really blows my mind right there. Now let's play here we got to give the John Stamos Award tonight. The John Stamos Award for Best Player on the Field, I think you got to give it to Diaz. I mean, he earned it tonight. I'm not going to go pitching for Houston. Houston did whatever. I mean, look, they had no one that really standed out. Blanco gave you 5 innings 84 pitches, 52 which were strikes. He lowers his ERA to 6.94. He had 7 strikeouts. That's kind of impressive. The Angels struck out 10 times. That's kind of impressive. But when you're hitting 061 and you double your average in one game and you hit a grand slam, not just any old grand slam, a no-doubter, well, you deserve player of the game. And guess what? He is the player of the game tonight. Now we go to the Nacho Night award. Plenty of Angels can be responsible for this award.
Nacho night, oh yeah, Nacho night. Pile it up, load it high. Extra shame, hold the pride. Grab a fork, take a dive. Dignity's gone, but the cheese survived. Moldy cheese, stale chips, what a sight. All your dreams gone tonight. Had a bad night, lost the fight. No more crunch, just take a bite. It's the Nacho Night Award.
The Nacho Night Award. Look, look at the bullpen. I mean, look, Daryl Hicks got called up because Ben Joyce went down on the IL, and Ron Washington's like, well, we're in a close game right here. Sort of, we're going to get you some work right now that McDaniels fucked it up. So we're going to bring you in and give you a first opportunity. Well, first opportunity, he gets smoked and pitches an inning, gives up 4 runs. Way to help him out. 3 walks right there. 29 pitches, 13 of which were strikes. He now has a 36 ERA. Way to go. Way to throw those rookies into the burning pit of fire and then throw gasoline on top of them, Ron. Then Ian Anderson, good old Ian Anderson. What's the future of this guy and a guy like Moncada and Newman? Which one of these guys actually gets cut first? I mean, dude, I don't like Ian Anderson. He's Suarez from the right side. And, he'll give you some kind of like, eye-raising performance where he pitches you in a clean inning and you're like, hey, he may not be that bad. He was hitting his spots. And then he comes out today and it does what he does. Total mop-up roll, right? Total mop-up roll. You could have brought Detmers in when it was 3-2, bases loaded. And again, I like matchups. StatCast apparently said it was great to go lefty-righty with a guy who tends to hit lefties pretty good. Instead of going a righty, I would have much preferred to see Ian Anderson. If you have such a big head and you can't, like Ron Washington, can't just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go righty-righty right here because that's the better matchup for me. No, you go lefty-righty in favor of Houston. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, at least if you go Detmers, he has a wicked curveball, can induce a ground ball, and, he's got strikeout mentality. Nah, let's go with someone that's completely unproven. And then, no, we have a mop-up spot here for Detmers. Nah, I can't use him. Got to use Ian Anderson and further pour more gasoline on the fire. Both those guys suck. I mean, Ian Anderson's posting a 12 ERA. I wouldn't, I'm too hard on Daryl Hicks. I mean, he shouldn't be out there. You should test this guy when it was 14-3. You shouldn't test him in the middle of a chance where the game is still kind of close. This is not how I would run a team. This is just not how I would run a team. So with all that being said, I think you have to give the Nacho Night Award to Patrick O'Neill and Ron Washington. Fuck them both tonight. Ron Washington, you got to do better. You got to do better, Senator. You got to do better when you're freaking calling these bullpen opportunities out for your team. You are not putting these guys in the best spots to win. You've done this over and over, and he's gotten away with it a few times. And as far as Patrick O'Neill, can we fire the guy already? He's been a Dodger announcer, a Ducks announcer, a Kings announcer. He sucks wherever he goes. He literally sucks the life out of this team. I'd rather listen to Trent Rush call a game, not Roger Lodge. Hell no, I couldn't stand that guy. He'd be like, hey, you know who's up to bat right now? That's Logan O'Hoppe. I once had hair that beautiful and nipples that perky like Logan O'Hoppe. And I also used to be on this little show that you used to know by the name of Blind Date. It's in syndication right now. I still get residuals to my bank account. And did you know that I used to ride my bike down to Anaheim Stadium with John Stamos sitting firmly on my lap all the way down? We were best friends, and John Stamos got me into Full House. Oh, there's a home run by Trout. And he got me into all kinds of acting abilities and shows because I was on Hollywood Squares. I'd rather listen to Trent Rush being like, hey, we're so back right now. We got to run right now, and we're only down 11-1. Hey, we're so back. Go to OG's. Just keep making lefts, and then you turn right, and you go right into OG's. Best pizza in the OC. Better than Patrick O'Neill, again, telling you stories that make no sense. He is like the anti Vince Scully. At least Vince Scully told you good stories that you could watch a 30-0 blowout and you'd just be intrigued by his commentary. Like, you're winning a game if Patrick, the rare time that actually, I can't say that because when Patrick O'Neill usually calls games, they always lose. But let's just say in an alternate universe, Patrick O'Neill is calling a game and the Angels are winning by 10 runs. I'd want to tune out because it's just like I want to stick a fork in my ear. He is terrible, god awful. Note to whoever's listening on AM 830 and the Angels Network, get rid of Patrick O'Neill. He's terrible. So the Angels lost tonight, and we played all that. We did the awards. It's now time to get into the comments, and let's hear what you guys and gals have to say tonight on a sucky loss tonight. Mateo's batting leadoff, and he says, guess what, everybody? No matter what, it's Spritz o'clock.
Angels play, win or lose, we toast today. Sip and cheer, no matter score. Spritz the clock, let's pour some more. Spritz the clock, let's pour some more.
Asking for Savage Garden, but balls. We can't play that no more. Q714 tickets, Q Underdog, Q FanDuel, Q it all. Let's go over right here to let's play a commercial and F it. Screw it. Let's get it over with. It's only 35 seconds, so don't kill me.
Hey, Todd, what are you looking at?
I'm looking at the Underdog app sponsored by Halos in the Infield. Actually, you can punch in HITI and get the promo code 20% earnings on your first bet via Underdog, the app. And also, they match 50% up to $1,000 winnings if you place bets. You could put them on players. You could put it on teams. It's a nightly thing. It's so easy to play, but also gamble responsibly. All because of Halos in the Infield and Underdog, the app.
So right now, Jason Hess says, besides Trout's laser, we could hit Marsha's ass with a golden. We couldn't hit Marsha's ass with a golden dong. Yeah, it was tough tonight, dude. Tough loss. Jason Hess also says Houston announcers were saying this is exactly what Houston needed. Q FanDuel. Yeah, I mean, come on, dude. Like they're basically trolling us tonight. They were like, "Hey, we needed those home runs tonight to get some guys off the schneid, and we look good." Angels were like, hey, don't worry. We got a solo home run from Mike Trout. Salvador says, I don't care. They fire me anymore. If you're a Halo honk like me, then shut up. And I think he's referring to let's see, where is this? I got to find that one. See, when you guys call them out, sometimes I have them set up or I have this one ready. This is what Salvador is referring to.
If you're a so-called Angel fan, if you're a Halo honk for life like me, then shut up.
Jason S. says, Houston gave us a taste of reality. Also, he says, we have Happy swinging like a Happy Gilmore. Also, Q Lombardi over and over and over. 4 strikeouts. So the first strikeout.
What the hell's going on out here?
Happy 1.
What the hell's going on out here?
Happy 2.
What the hell's going on out here?
Happy 3.
What the hell's going on out here?
Happy 4. 4 strikeouts for him. That is your golden sombrero tonight. Man, that was awful. Rally Chris says, oh, no. Oh, shit. We suck again. Yeah, it was sort of like this one right here.
Oh, no. We suck again.
Yes, we do. Tyler says balls in Washington has officially relapsed. Why can't I talk? Yeah, it was tough tonight.
For you to check out what I want. I want balls and John Stamos.
Washington relapsing. Also, Marty says we completely farkus tonight. Jason S says Dasani or whatever the hell you want to come to their stadium. Going to the lemonade to water products shouldn't affect how we play. Fackin stadium. Fuck. Tyler says this game was triggering. Felt like last year's dog crap. It did. Not a good way to start your weekend on a Friday. You wanted better things to happen, and they got blown out. Just like the White Sox opening series, blowout loss the final 2 games, bounce back tomorrow to go 1-0. Yeah, we got to go 1-0 tomorrow. Wilbur says, fuck! Also, Jason Hess says, I'm so mad I'll throw Grillmaster's hobbit ass off the cliff of Mordor. Wilbur says, we suck again. Mateo says, I'm beyond pissed off right now because the only word I want to yell is fuck. Boy, you guys are referencing a lot from last year. Angels want to make me drink tonight. Eddie Perez says, I knew it was too good to be true. Also, I blame this one on Tim Anderson. He botched that hard ball off of Jordan Alvarez. He makes that play and the inning is over. The slam never happens. That's a good point, Dan. Philip also checks in with, this is why you should never show your honkness. Yes, it's one honk at a time by one game. You can't honk all the time. And it is too early to honk. But, I don't blame you guys for honking because the team did start out pretty good. Eddie Perez says, same shit every year. DJ checks in with, if Rendon ever plays again, I will boo that man. Sorry, not sorry. Did he meet up with the Angels? That's what I want to know. Bourbon in Baseball, she's done a lot of nice work with us, and we just had a show with her the other night on her show. Fernando did, and she says, sorry, y'all. I don't blame you. A little bit of Todd right there, Jason says. Also, Kiwi says Anderson not getting the grounder off of Jordan killed us in the 5th. I don't care how hard that ball was hit. On the replay, you can see he had a chance at that one 10 times out of 10. And that was tough, too, because had he made that play, again, like you guys have been saying, that inning is completely different. He did overrun that one. Also, Chubb says Angels losing to the Astros. We're so back. Keith says, dang it, Bourbon. Also, the only thing that is going to get me over this is the Terry Smith joke routine in a family 4-pack. Might happen pretty soon. Also, and Q locked on Angels Live, Jason Hess says. DJ says Angels 8-4 tomorrow. Mark my words. I would love that, DJ. I do want the Angels to get that one right tomorrow. We appreciate y'all letting us get right. Speaking of getting right, Bourbon in Baseball says, hey, J Ram says, we're the Angels a fluke. They finally play a good team and they suck dick. And don't get me started on Gooby Goober. If I hear him say home run or launch angle one more time, I'm going to lose my shit. And that's why sometimes I believe as Angel fans, as much as Gooby's Gooby and what is it called? Even when Wayne's there, I see a situation where the Angels get a leadoff hit and maybe they're down a run or two, right? The first thing that comes out of Gooby's mouth is, hey, this guy has 22 home runs in his last 165 games. He could hit a home run right here and give us the lead. It's like we're starting a rally. Have you not looked at the defense? Like the right side's wide open. How about saying every now and then, not every time, if you want to throw in the Gooby Goober home runs all the time, how about just mixing it up and saying, well, hey, if he goes to right field right here, if Anderson can single, I think Trout can make it to third. That's cool. That's a different take. Everything is home run. Wayne Randazzo's like, well, he's sitting on 416 career home runs. Like, no one gives a shit. Like you're starting an inning. You don't need a home run all the time. Now, I can understand if it was the other night in Tampa Bay and you're like, hey, Mike Trout's up there. He's a go-ahead runner. If he hits a home run right here, the Angels get the lead. That's fine. I'm fine with that. There's certain situations that fit that narrative. But not every damn time does that fit the narrative. I'm tired of hearing about home runs, launch angles. I'm right there with you, J-Ram. That has pissed me off for the last 3 seasons. We can't get past the grand slam. Jason Hess. Also, DJ says we just need a good lead early and in a game and keep it. James Gonzalez says it's Savage Garden time. Off topic, Todd. I think Trout is vibing with being the vet, vibing off the young guys. Think he's actually having fun. You can see it, actually. You really can. That grand slam really stung, DJ said. Also, and as I was messaging you, Todd, Wash messed up with bullpen again. Wasn't Detmers in instead of the rookie Daniels? That's a high stress situation. Detmers can handle it. He should have been. Eddie Perez wants the Savage Garden back. Well, tell that to freaking YouTube. They freaking, even though that was a cover of Savage Garden and Randy put the actual Savage Garden video in the background, we still got copyrighted for that. So stupid. Rally Chris says, fuck, I blame this loss on Ron for putting in the spirit curse on us by saying that Rendon was going to pop up since he lives in Houston. Mentioning that fucker curse is a curse to the team. It doesn't matter if we hit a grand slam or the other team does, we still lose, Tyler says. Rye Guy says, what the hell did I just watch? Ron Washington literally handed the Astros a win on the bullpen decision. Halo Homie says, why did Washington put a lefty McDaniels against a righty-handed lineup? It does not make no sense. But this is what the guys on the other network love to tell you. We're so stupid on this page. Everyone is so stupid on this page, and it's not me saying it's them, because we don't follow StatCast. Again, you can't reinvent the wheel. Certain stats are great. Certain stats, if you're asking me what's the percentage of set Mike Trout going to right field via, versus left, him pulling the ball. If you're giving me stats like that, those make sense. But the speed off the bat really doesn't make sense to me, because you could hit one literally 30 to 40 miles per hour off the bat and be a bleeder and get a hit. And it goes down in the books the same as it would being hit off the bat at 112 miles per hour. As long as it finds green or a player can't get there, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how hard you hit the ball. Launch angle doesn't matter. I've seen guys golf home runs. I've seen guys hit home runs their head level, swinging over their head, barely putting the barrel of the bat on it and flinging it into right field like in Tampa. It doesn't matter. It's just where you place the bat. But no, there's all these stupid stats that tell you stupid things. And then right when hey, lefty-lefty matchup, it favors the pitcher. Righty-righty matchup should favor the pitcher. No. StatCast and other stupid stuff from the analytic nerds who never played a baseball game in their life professionally, semi-pro, or anything in high school are telling you, no, that has worked for 140 years of baseball or longer, but we have a better idea. We're gonna change the wheel from circle to square, and we're going to give you a lefty-righty matchup. Favor pitcher. How did that go for us tonight? Because you still got to place the ball. Ricky says, I heard the trash cans thumping tonight. Patrick Carrillo says, what was a sad song you played in the streams from last year's Angels Would Lose? You Bring Me Up Just to Let You Down. Yeah, it was the Buttercup song, and then we also would play Savage Garden. Also, Jesus says, we're so back. The Angels' stepchild, the Astro stepchild, actually, redheaded stepchild. Literally. Rally Chris says, what makes things worse is the Rangers were losing 3-1. Or the Rangers are losing to the Mariners. It's no use watching the division right now. It just isn't. The curse of Artie Moreno, Patrick says. Also, Patio straight up sucks. Ricky said, the left side of the infield's got to improve tenfold it's going to improve tenfold when Neto returns. That inning should have never happened. I agree. James says, I think I could call a better game than Patrick O'Neill. Damn right you can, James. I've heard you. Also, would you have left Jack in the game to get out of the inning with the bases loaded? Yes, and yes. Also, David Fox says, I heard the trash cans myself. Mateo says, I'm in San Jose Giants game right now. I caught a foul ball on the fly. Hell yeah, Mateo. Show that glove work. Let's see. You could all have taken the early lead tonight. They lost. Oh, well, don't worry, fam. The season starts tomorrow. Yes, Eric checks in. He wants to know. But no, he's actually telling you when the season starts.
We got a lot of baseball left to be played, and the season starts tonight.
And then my audio had went out, so I'm catching up to those. It says Todd's audio is out of here. That was earlier. Halo Homie says, I really miss your Theiss voice. I need it now after tonight's game. Well, it's kind of like this, dude. If we would have had better infielding, if I was calling balls and strikes behind the plate, I would have interfered with a couple bats, and then I would have been like, Nevin, what do I call the defense? I got to shade him to the left, and then I would have walked into the wrong bullpen or in the wrong dugout. I forget what it's called. And yeah, Ned! J-Ram also says, at least you came back unlike my dad. Wow, that is pain right there. That is definitely that I don't know how to take that comment right there other than
Emotional damage.
Patrick says, Todd, I know how to cheer you up. Balls in my mouth. Thank you. Appreciate that. Balls and a losing streak at Dyke Park. Yeah.
Time for you to check out what I want. I want balls and John Stamos.
Dyke Park. So we're 0-1 with the Dykes. Man, don't take that out of context. That's what it's called. That's what the stadium's called. Halos as a Mariners fan, dude, or Halo as a Mariners fan, dude. Eric Wallace says, also, Tony C. Angels didn't get all the bounces going their way. It's only one game. Go Halos. Todd, keep up your good work. Ron Washington's bullpen selection. Why did you bring in that left-hander? I think we're going to be questioning that over and over and over. Dixon Cider hurts so good. Halo homie says, Paris for president. Hicks has an ERA of 36. Bourbon and Baseball says, to be fair, Yonner was batting .299 last season. He is a really decent hitter. He is a decent hitter, but damn it, he has been helped out when he's sucked so far. Rye Guy says, Ian Anderson, you're out of here. Saucy says the bullpen has Jansen and Zephyr John. Everybody is a crapshoot or pure trash. Can't argue that. Bourbon and Baseball says Hitler, very different than Maldi. Or Hitter. I don't know why I said Hitler. Hitter, very different than Maldi. He is a different hitter, but he was off to a Maldi start. Useless Trucker says all the Angel pitchers have an ERA of 6 tonight. Diaz, a problem in their lineup right there. Mateo also says Angels offense was offensively bad. I like their new City Connects. Looks like the Astros from the 80s. Yeah, those are actually pretty good. Oh, Happy was 0 for 4. Rye Guy says the first time you would put a position player on the mound, instead Ron puts in home run ball Anderson. Yeah, the one time he says, yeah, you should have put in a position player in this game. Not in the previous games, especially not on opening day. Useless Trucker says, is it time to take up soccer yet? Give it to the end of the month. Hello, Newman, just like Seinfeld. Newman is the villain. Dan Rio says Newman may have made that play off Jordan. Call up Silseth or Cajeda. You'd have to pull up both those guys because they both have experience, and I trust them a lot more than these young kids that we have up there right now. That's the problem. Newman equals Soup Nazi. A lot of Seinfeld references. I got another foul ball and gave it to a young kid. Good for you, Mateo. Never be that one annoying YouTuber. Useless Trucker says maybe we get Suarez back. No. We don't go that far. M-Dog says I'd rather have Erica Weston in the booth than dumb fucking Patrick O'Neill. Yes. I signed David Robertson, stopgap pitcher, Zephyr John 6 and 7. That's not a bad idea. David Robertson is a wily veteran, and he could still get it done. Rye Guy says, was anyone when Paris had the big spill running to first base, or was anyone freaking out? Probably he wants to say Rye Guy. I was, and he ran into dude's butt like Bourbon and Baseball said. Really did. Also, I'd rather already read that one. Also, no, hell no, Todd, comeback player of the year. Yeah. We all know that was a terrible take by me. Kind of late to be here. It's your boy, but watched from the 4th or 7th inning, and that's all I could watch. Diaz had to hit, as statistically been one of the unluckiest hitters so far. He needed that hit. Also, he says, once the starter couldn't get Altuve out in the 5th, I knew it wasn't going to go well, but man, they threw the bullpen or batting practice to them. Also, Patrick says Artie Moreno gets not just 1, but 2 plates of nachos. Blow pen tonight, Mateo. Also, why would you throw it out an inexperienced pitcher in a game you're in? Did Rendon come to the clubhouse? That's the big question. If anyone can find out, leave that in the messages, please. I ordered my Paris jersey. He may be the only reason why I watched the Angels this year. Also, Patrick O'Neill gives me aneurysms. Flash says, don't forget Roger Lodge was also on True TV, presents World's Dumbest. That's right. And if you look that up, Flash, if you check out his awesome work on that show, I think that was the one with the bubbles and whatnot, the sayings. He actually had a racist joke on there that if you look up Roger Lodge, that clip will come on. I'm telling you, because I was looking for sound bites, and that clip does come up. Rye Guy says, was Burke not available? Why not throw a rookie left-hander who is having trouble throwing strikes in a bases-loaded situation? Why do that? Mateo says, yeah, well, this team sure did suck last night. Yeah, they sure did suck tonight. It's too much tonight.
That team sure did suck last night. They just plain sucked. I've seen teams suck before, but they were the suckiest bunch of sucks that ever sucked.
Yes, Demetrio says that, Todd. Just listen to your Girl in the Box episode, Wild Stuff. Oh, Girl in the Box episode. Yeah, Demetrio, that's a crazy. He's referring to the crime podcast I do as well. Let's pour some more. I've missed that song. Rye Guy also says, are we reverting back to the 2024 Angels? Ooh. Let's see. Ball 4, ball 8, just walk the bases loaded. Yeah, you did walk the bases loaded tonight. And this game was bad. It was really bad. Yeah, it was game over after that grand slam.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Yep, he sure did. Also, MLA says, Aliverga, puto rendon. He also says, as soon as the MLB network talk about the Angels, we start fucking up. The curse is all over. We're always looking to blame the curse on something. Sapphire says, I'm officially done with this team. Also, he says, if you can't make adjustments now and then, you can't do it in the future. If there was a playoff season starts the beginning of the season, the playoff starts, he says, these guys just lost, or these guys lost it. Rendon maybe was in the clubhouse, maybe. James Cano says, pitching has kept us in games. Offense wins the games. If the pitching starts to struggle, this team will only win 70 games. I agree. They really, really, really need to get consistent. So Botch says Angels can't break bad habits. Also, Sapphire says, all I got to say is, why don't we have a major league any major league pitching? It's always double-A trash. Eric Ward says, I never want to see Anderson on the mound again. All that bum does is give up runs and lots of them. Suarez 2.0. Mateo hooks us up with a super sticker. Appreciate that, my man. Eric Ward says, ball velocity off the bat is just porn for stat geeks. They obviously want a bigger dick. Amen to that. Ricky says, batting average and OPS rise the harder you hit the ball. That's a fact, Todd. Calling you out there on that one. That's debatable. That's debatable because, again, I've seen guys who don't hit any home runs. How do you explain guys like Juan Pierre, who had, I think a career high 3 home runs? There's a lot of guys who used to play this game before analytics who were just used for their speed and getting infield singles. I mean, last I checked, guys like freaking Ichiro Suzuki never really crushed the ball all that hard. He just was using his speed and hit it where people weren't. So, and Tony Gwynn hit a lot of bleeders. He never really hit the ball hard either. His batting average in OPS was off the charts, Hall of Fame status. I think it works for certain players. You're probably right, Ricky, but it doesn't work for everybody. And I think that those stats are pretty much not needed. Again, it's all about where you hit the ball. It's all about, to me, mindset, doing your homework, watching video and training. And if you can better yourself, evolve as a player, you don't need no stat cast. You don't need anything. Well, I got launch angle. Who gives a fuck about launch angle? Also, I could have called a better game than Patrick O'Neill. Yes, you could have, Mateo. Dan Rios says, and me love you long time. He's calling this every night, dude. Every night he fits in
There's a lot of baseball left to be played. And the season starts tonight, which makes me so horny. And me love you long time.
Michael says, how come you can't use balls and balls? I can use balls and balls. Or how come you can't? Yeah, we use that for tags. If someone says a certain thing and they end their comment with balls and balls, we usually do this.
Time for you to check out what I want. I want balls and John Stamos.
Yeah, we just add it in there. Bot says, I'm happy with the mayor of Anaheim wants to make the team Anaheim Angels again. MAGA, make Anaheim great again. All I got to say about that is they had, if you look up the video, they had a new video today. I saw it on the, I'm going to give credit where credit's due. What's his name? It's Fernando's favorite guy on the internet, on the interwebs on YouTube, Brody Brazil. On the Brody Brazil channel on YouTube, he came out there and he said he played some video and audio of the mayor getting roasted by city council because they felt that she should have consulted the city council, as they all have to work together to get the deal done with Artie. And they felt pretty pissed off about that, and they threw her under the bus. Michael says, I hate modern commentating. It's all factoids related to dumbass metrics. Let's see. Grillmaster's DFAing everybody. Has anyone picked up on Honeywell? Not that I know of. Also, Tyler says the last 2 games, Gooby and Wayne have talked about the ump wearing a Kramer shirt or the Kramer shirt. Oh, I remember that. Also, Rendon did not visit the clubhouse. That's good, but there's still 2 games left there. PJ said Terry Smith said no radio that number 6 did not come to the ballpark. Good. I'm glad you guys are giving me the updates right there. Let's see. Also, balls, and DFA everybody. Tyler says Rendon probably went to the clubhouse. No, we verified he didn't make it. Marcia loves exit velocity. Oh, geez. Michael also says, I don't think the bunt will ever be popular again. It's been taken out of baseball, and that's the problem that I have as a fan because, to me, I look at it like this, guys and gals. The fact that, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Home runs are nice. Home runs are fun. Home runs can be exciting. It could be game-changing. They can also be rally killers. I've been to plenty of games where they hit home runs and the place goes nuts and we sit back down and then there's a strikeout, ground out, and, a pop out, and then that's the end of the inning. There's nothing wrong with that. They got a run on the board. They got a couple runs on the board, but if you're the Angels, you usually hit solo home runs, so those really don't help. However, I grew up in a time in baseball when getting on base was valued more than just the movie part of Moneyball. There was an art to it. There was hitters that worked and tried to always evolve every year to get better than they were. There was just, there was speed guys. Like you knew if you had a good baseball team, your 1 and 2 guys were the table setters. Like the Angels had those table setters for a while with Sean Figgins and Eric Ibar. You had table setters that would get you going, that would get on base. Like when the Angels were doing good, they had David Eckstein and Scott Spiezio sometimes hitting 1 and 2. The list can go on and on. Tony Phillips, Darren Erstad, so on and so on. The last guy would flip it over to the lineup to get the speed going, right? For all the power hitters and guys that would hit the gaps, like your Garrett Andersons, right? I grew up in baseball like that. Like I love the fact that you would have your Juan Pierres or your trying to think of the other hitters that were around in that time. Vince Coleman's, like Ozzie Smith. Those guys were not home run hitters, but they were slap the ball hitters. You get on any way you can, and then you create havoc on the bases. So my point with home runs is sometimes when you go to a game, it hasn't been prevalent the last 2 years with Angels baseball, but they've done it a few more times, at least this year, where they've gotten a guy on a first base and someone hits a gapper, and then it's like, oh man, is he gonna go for home? Are they waving him in? To me, that's more exciting. When you see the outfielders and you're looking at the guy rounding the bases, and he's coming around second. They haven't quite picked up the ball yet, and then he's starting to come to third. They picked up the ball. They're starting to throw it to the cutoff man. The guy's barely rounding the third base, and you're like, crap, is he going to beat the throw? And then you have to look and then look back, and you're looking at the runner, and then all of a sudden the ball at the catcher, they meet or collide, or they it's a bang bang play. That is super duper exciting. I love that. I love having pressure on the bases, stolen bases, and stuff like that. The game has changed. The bunting is almost irrelevant to Angels play. They really don't do that anymore, and it's kind of frustrating because there's a lot of situations where you have, when Moniak was here, a guy like him should be able to, with his skinny frame, drop a bunt on the third base side and beat it out. Or the other night, I'm looking at the infield and they're shading, when they were playing here at home versus Ohio, you had them shading the third baseman at shortstop, and they had the infield pulled to the right. Now, just a few years ago, 7 or 8 years ago, you would be able to say, okay, if that's Ichiro, if this guy, maybe they're not playing that kind of defense. Or if it's another left-handed hitter, the left-handed hitter would put down a bunt and beat it out. He could walk to first. They're conceding the base, basically. And the fact that none of these hitters like to go the other way, none of these hitters like to drop a bunt, it's kind of frustrating. It hasn't been like this for a while. They haven't really used that kind of mentality. Michael says, will someone pass Ricky Henderson because of the large bases? I don't think so, because everyone only cares about home runs. I agree. That will be like the Cal Ripken, most games played. That will be a record that will never be broken. Big time. Demetrio says even Adam Kennedy at the bottom was doing work. He was. Also in the late 2000s, Meiser, On base percentage was nuts too. Yeah, he was really good. Also, Statcast fails again, averages rises when you take what the pitchers give you. Gwynn, Jeter, Rose aimed to hit also to all these bases, also left center field, right center field. Also that way off the speed would also be played right there. Home runs are glorified line drives. Debatable on that last part, but I will say that they do help out, but I don't think they're needed as much as they do in the game, but the analytics say they are. The next 2 games, the Astros have rookie pitchers on the mound. Hopefully this team can take advantage. Right, guy? If the Angels are going to change anything, it's their success versus rookie pitchers, because they do not do good against rookie pitchers historically. Tyler says, remember the suicide bunt last year? That was good baseball, man. Yeah, that was only one time. Plus, we had like 4 failures with that one success. We know the narrative about facing pitchers for the first time, 10-2 losers tomorrow. Oh, I'm not liking that. Unfiltered checks in with, we're so back. Also, you got Grillmaster, one more loss that could have been a win. And then you had Marty says, phones back in the clubhouse, apparently. Mateo says, circus music. Yeah, I mean, look, the team did play – well, they did play a lot like this tonight. But there was definitely circus music going on because they did not play good at all. I mean, you play to win the game, and I felt they didn't do it.
Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
Yeah, and then like the way Ohapi was hitting, dude, it was pretty bad tonight. It was, you almost wanted to play this song. Yeah, he didn't get off the schneid at all. He was bad tonight. Don Hammond says he checks in with, brutal one tonight, big bro. We got to fight back tomorrow. Even this series up, just got to flush this one. That's true. This is one of those ones where I know it pissed off a lot of Angel fans back in the day, but he would say all the time, Mike Solskjaer's like, you got to turn the page on it. And it's true. You got to turn the page. Robert says, true test to see what this team is made of. Clearly we got punched in the mouth. They can pull a locked on and cry about it, or nut up and win. I like that. Mateo says, oh my gosh, this guy stinks. So Hoppy. No phone calls tonight. Alex says, how about a yummy tasting nut? Well, let's check in to see what they're wrapping up that show with.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Gavin Carlson, former credentialed journalist in the LA area. How about a yummy tasting nut?
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Yeah, let's see if it pays off for him. Tyler says the boys are tired from the flight from the long season top. That was an excuse. Tyler's never going to let that one slide. That was an excuse that the Angels announcers actually used last year, where they were tired from a freaking flight. And that's why they lost. Right guy says the Astros played the way who we thought they were. Michaels also says, I'm not convinced about how good or bad this team is until the end of May. I agree. There's a lot of time left as we wrap this show up. There's a lot of baseball left to be played, obviously. And the season doesn't start tonight or tomorrow. Well, yeah.
We got a lot of baseball left to be played, and the season starts tonight.
Oh, yeah.
These nuts. Got him. Got him.
That's a yummy tasting nut right there. These nuts. Yeah, the season does start tomorrow again. I mean, we got to go 1-0. We got to go 1-0 at the shoot. We don't want to get into any kind of losing streak. I don't know how strong or battle tested this team can go if they lose 4 or 5 in a row. Just got to keep trying to win series and put themselves behind the 8 ball with the opening loss of this series and a bad one. So we're going to have to see. I mean, I think more than anything now, I want to see how they can respond to adversity. And this was a tough loss, a real tough loss. So we'll have to really see right now. I'm not reading that one, but you could see what that says right there. Robert says Roger was like, oh, happy, oh. Michael says, can we add the coconut tree from Kamala Harris to the soundboard or her cackle? I'll have to look that one up, the cackle for sure. Wendy's nuts in the mouth. Oh, geez. Oh, man. Grillmaster. By the way, we have our tailgate coming up on the 19th. You want to be there or be square. It's going to be really fun over there at Brewheim. Check out the commercials. We'll start to get those out there again. Thanks again, Super Sticker, for Mateo. I missed that other one. Really appreciate the super chat tonight. But yeah, come one, come all. We're going to have giveaways and a fun time a couple hours early before that game, and then give you plenty of time to walk over there and get your Mandalorian, get your whatever the hell they call that ship that I'm annoying Dan with over there at the Big A. It's a fighter, X-Wing, whatever the hell it's sitting on top of the Anaheim, it's the Enterprise. Get your Enterprise Halo bobblehead figurine or whatever the hell it is. It's the Starship Enterprise for Star Trek night at the ballpark on the 19th. But we're going to be at Brewheim having a good time. Again, the first $300 is now up to $300 is free beer. So come one, come all. It should be fun. Alex checks in with, I think we need another bullpen arm or a starting pitcher because I'm not really a fan of Kwanowitz. I say give him a little bit of time. He will be good. And he's pitched all right. But I definitely agree. We need some bullpen help. We need some guys with, like Robertson was thrown out there earlier by Roberts. So there's a few other pitchers that are still available. I mean, come on, guys. Grillmaster made some salsa. Millennium Falcon. Wait, why the hell do I know that? I don't know, James, because I don't. Jake from State Farm bobblehead. That'd be cool. Let's see. Also, Todd, do you have any other sell the team shirts? I'd like one. I might have one right there, or a few. The Mandalorian Falcon, Todd. The Millennium Falcon. To see, I knew I pissed off Dan. I'm sorry. Let's see. Also, the Aluminum Falcon, the Battlestar Robotchka, the ship Contra drove. Get your shit straight. Michael says, what time is the Brewheim tailgate? It's from 2 to 5:30 on that Saturday. It should be a lot of fun. We're going to have some cornhole right there. We'll have a tic-tac-toe, the giant game. We'll also have some Jenga. It should be a lot of fun. Robert's like, grill's going. I'm out now. Unfiltered says the Death Star Falcon. Star Wars Night at the Big AQ Lombardi. I would love to see a Star Trek night because look,
what the hell's going on out here?
I'm not big on Star Wars. I'm just not. I think Disney ruined that IP like they've done a lot of other shit bad lately. I used to like the old ones. I'm like one of those type of guys, call me old school. Too much of a good thing's too much of a good thing. And I think they should have waited on some of these and not really pushed it out there so much and did the whole girl boss thing on a guy IP. But hey, it is what it is. What do I know, right? A lot of people like it, like Dan. That's fine. But I'll tell you straight up, and the honest truth, man. A few family members of mine, for whatever reason, love Star Trek. I can't get into it. It's like a diplomatic show in space. It's boring as shit. They have the weakest little guns. They look like electric shavers, and they're like phasers, and they're supposed to be so strong. It's like, that's not my style. I mean, again, Star Wars is not making me go to the games next weekend. It's obviously baseball. The perks are what they're giving away or the drone show. But I'm not going to be like, oh, look at Trout. He's dressed like Han Solo on the Jumbotron. I don't care. I just want to see this team win. I really do. It's just, I don't know. Stuff like this is just trivial to me. I can't rally my monkey around this. Let's see. Grillmaster says, don't worry, Rob. The salsa won't kill you. It'll just give you diarrhea. Ricky was messing with his son was messing with Dan, the Atlanta Falcon. Robert says we needed some in color, Todd, with legit graphics. We needed some in color. I think you're referring to the Tyler. Oh man. He's Han Solo in the batter's box. He is. He's living up to it for sure. Alex says nothing is worse than Christmas in June. That is the dumbest thing. And they're giving away sweaters this year, people. Sweaters. I mean, come on. Tyler says I'm canceled. No, unfortunately, nobody gets canceled in here. So there's some pretty raunchy stuff. Little Wayne says State Farm in the LA Fire Department. What next? Karen Bass throwing out the first pitch. Enough of the LA Fire's team. Yeah, I think that we could do a lot more for the LA area since we're in the LA area. We can benefit. You know what we should do? We should have a what's that place called again? A Skid Row weekend. We just bring all the down on their luck people, or they're not even down on their luck. I mean, most of those people, I do feel bad for the ones that are actually down on their luck, but what's the percentage in Skid Row? I think it's mostly just people that want to be like that, live like that, and unfortunately have mental problems or they're on drugs. So it's like a combination of like all four. So I don't want to make fun of it, but I think Artie, if he could make a buck off of it, would exploit it. I'm just saying. Balls, and wearing sweater in in summer. Yeah, that's the dumbest thing, Grillmaster. Also, hell yeah, let's vibe already. J-Dog says, and so the losing begins. All the Grill's buddies from Skid Row. The Skid Row Falcon. It's the roofie I'm afraid of, Grill. We don't need Skid Row night. That's just Raider fans. Damn, James. He took a shot, and that's coming from a Rams fan that they can't draw their own fans. But yeah, I don't know. I just want to see baseball. I'm tired of the gimmicks. And we'll see what happens at the game. Michael says, whatever happened to the homeless next to Angel Stadium? Irvine made a big deal about it. Oh, they put them on the Starship Enterprise that rests upon on the Big A out there, and they flew them somewhere else. Or they threw them on the Metro, and then you know how that works. Metro takes the unfortunate homeless wherever the hell they want to go to. They never pay the tap card. They just go where the hell they want. They're all, well, we can't panhandle over here in North Hollywood. Let's go to the beach on taxpayers' dimes. Let's see. Also, J-Dog says them people at Skid Row have those Brandon Marsh beards. They sure do, dude. Been working on them really good. I drove through Skid Row in downtown LA in fall one day. Dear Lord, it's bad. Yeah, it is pretty bad. It is pretty bad. Skid Row night. You mean kick off the night at MetLife? Actually, Skid Row night was up in Oakland. If you ever got to see a game in Oakland before they left, man, it was like going through a war zone before you got to a game. It looked really ugly. They beamed them out. Also, even Angel Stadium isn't dope. They also have Vegas following their team, or have trouble falling in Vegas. They're out of here. Also, I think everyone secretly dumps them in downtown LA. Yeah, you know what sucks too is they're closing it in. If you've seen how LA is kind of revitalized, they're closing that Skid Row smaller and smaller and smaller. They are really making it if you go to certain places, I forget the streets now, but you get to a certain street from Skid Row, and especially past the garment district, and you try to get into the downtown LA, where they've started to really revitalize those old buildings and rent them out and make them $5,000 penthouses and all that crap a month. They have pushed the Skid Row further and further back, and they actually have armed guards, not letting them camp out any further north. So, I mean, they'll walk through every now and then. They'll slip through, and all of a sudden you see all these people, especially during a work day, dressed up nice or whatever. You're at tourists and you just see a bunch of like, homeless right there. And then it just gets worse the further south or east you go, actually. Also, even Angels Stadium is a downgrade from Skid Row, according to the mayor. That's a low blow. Grillmaster says, my salsa is fresh for all. Daniel says, happy Friday, everyone. J-Dog also says that the one playground by Angel Stadium that used to be a homeless encampment. Yeah, they took that over real fast. See, you're reading stuff so fast, you're screwing up my jokes. I'm sorry. Michael also says, will Las Vegas A's be like the Los Angeles Chargers? Who gives a crap? Yes, any team that goes to Vegas will not succeed, except a team that's homegrown, like the Vegas Knights. They're the only ones that will, the Golden Knights. They're the only ones that's going to succeed, because you bring a team in from somewhere else, they're only going to the people are going to buy up the tickets and sell it to other transients. At Dan Rips, his inner Todd Lodge is coming out. Oh, geez. Winston Street, 4th through 7th, Los Angeles Street. See, he breaks it down right there. Unfiltered says, Artie let them camp out there and called them affordable housing. Nobody should consume anything from Grill's Kitchen. Who knows what's going on there, Tyler says. So you're gonna break his heart tonight. You're gonna make him very sad. He's upset because he puts in a lot of time into that food. So we went way off track, and I don't even know if it's worth freaking mentioning at this point, but the Angels got pounded 14-3, 2 touchdowns to a field goal. Angels look to recoup tomorrow. I have not been able to talk since we started this show tonight. It's a 4:10 start tomorrow, and we have Tyler Anderson on the bump. 10 innings pitched so far in 2 starts, 7 hits allowed in those 10 innings, 9 strikeouts, but unfortunately 6 walks and 3 home runs given up. So hopefully he can limit the home runs and walks tomorrow. And we should have a good chance tomorrow against Gusto. Ryan Gusto has only pitched in 1 start so far this year, actually 2 starts. He's got 8 innings pitched, 5 hits allowed, 9 strikeouts, 2 walks, and 1 home run given up. So we'll see how that goes tomorrow. Right now, the matchup predictor is saying the Astros have a 57% chance of winning tomorrow. So we'll see how the Angels fare against the Astros tomorrow. Because in the last 5, the Astros are 3-5, and the Angels are 3-5 in their last 5. So something's got to give tomorrow. And hopefully it breaks the Angels' way and we can get to 9-5, and the Stros can go back to being down 2 games under 500. We'll see what happens right there. Where's Terry Smith? I don't have any Terry Smith tonight, so I'm sorry for that. We do need some Terry Smith jokes, though. Angels 6-4, DJ says, so we'll see what happens. And regoob. That's the new catchphrase. Don't start. Just don't start. Angels lose tomorrow 6-5, 5 solo dingers. Captain Solos, baby, of the Starship Enterprise. Let's all regoob tomorrow. Not recoup, regoob. We got to regroup tomorrow and get our gooby on, and we got to honk our honks as we're going to try to win a series tomorrow, start the series off tomorrow, because when does the season start, Raj?
We got a lot of baseball left to be played, and the season starts tonight.
Yep, and we got to honk our honks. Yep. So, with that being said, I hope I didn't give you too much
emotional damage.
We got to keep our composure tomorrow so we can beat them. And hopefully not end up like we did tonight. So now you know.
Smart thinking.
Now I know.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe.
So there you go. He's trapped in the van right now. Trout hitting a solo shot in a blowout. It's a timeless classic. It's a story that will always be told, like the fables of that Disney ruins. They turn children's books and stories into bad remakes. But yeah, it's a tale old as time is what I was trying to come up with. Ricky's right, and it's sad. One last thing before I get out of here, and I regroup tomorrow. It sucks to know that Trout is, I think they were saying 16 home runs away from 400. I mean, let that sink in. He should have been nearing damn near or at 500 home runs. And because of all these injuries, he's barely going to be reaching 400. That's kind of sad. You know, there's no doubt I think he's going to hit 500 in his career. But this dude could have topped out around Ken Griffey Jr. or maybe even flirted with Barry Bonds at one point. Think about it. He's lost, with the COVID year, he's lost about 3.5 to 4 seasons. So, man, I mean, think about it. If he's hitting 40 to 50 home runs, that's another, you know, and even if he's not, even if he's hitting 35 on average, that's another 140 to 150 home runs that he would have had at this time. So you're talking about a guy that would be pushing 500, you know, or at 500 if he had 40 or 50. So that is pretty tough. Pretty tough to think about. So we'll see what we do tomorrow, and we'll see if the Angels can change it up a little bit. I am Todd Fox.
Stop it. Get some help.
I think we knew at sometimes need to get some help, because when you lose like this, you think of last year.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
But we want to come back with a win tomorrow, because the season starts tonight, baby. Good night, everybody.
We got a lot of baseball left to be played, and the season starts tonight.
Yes. So go Angels, and we'll be out of here, and we'll talk to you tomorrow after we play these commercials.
Brought to you by 714 Tickets in Anaheim, your trusted source for Angels tickets at unbeatable prices with no hidden fees. Whether it's home or away, they've got your seat covered. Visit them at 2424 East Catella Avenue, Anaheim, or online at 714tickets.com. Mention HITI and get 10% off your purchase. And Brewheim, Anaheim's premier craft brewery, pouring fresh, locally brewed beers in a welcoming atmosphere for Angels fans and beer lovers alike. Stop by their tap room at 1931 East Wright Circle, Anaheim, or check them out at brewheim.com. Mention HITI and get 10% off your tab. The OC Dugout, your one-stop shop for officially licensed Angels memorabilia, custom jersey framing, and exclusive autograph signings with your favorite players. Visit them at 1928 East Center Street, Anaheim, or online at theocdugout.com. Support the businesses that support Halos in the infield.